let's say somebody were to battle Lil Wayne in 2016. Follow me down this rabbit hole for a second. Let's say somebody battles Lil Wayne in 2016 and they make the main focus of their record to be the fact that Wayne and Baby kissed each other or that they had this weird father-son dynamic. For me personally, I wouldn't care how well those bars were structured because it's an old topic. It's something that would have been revisited like for the fucking 20 billionth time, and it would be null and void. So when I listen to this Meek Mill track where he collaborates with Omelly and there's a small little cameo by Beanie Siegel, when I listen to that track and I hear Omelly and I hear Meek making the main focus of their record to be the fact that the game was a stripper, it's fucking stupid. Now, I understand that ever since that other beef that we've spoken about way too much, let's just say that. Since that beef, Meek has rebranded himself as a person who really just doesn't give a fuck about lyrical ability. He doesn't care about lyrics anymore. It's not this old Meek Mill that came in with a battling background and he thought that he could take anybody, which is why he brought up all that Quentin Miller stuff, because he himself felt that he was a lyricist and that he was an MC, and then for whatever reason he got totally destroyed, and now it's taking to Instagram and saying, I don't give a fuck if I lost. I made $1 million last week. So even though I understand that Meek Mill doesn't care a lot about lyrical integrity anymore, this is still so weak on another level. It's weak because of the fact that Meek himself has reaped off the benefits of somebody who has had a prior lifestyle that wasn't very desirable in the eyes of hip hop. I mean, the fact that he's been under Rick Ross's umbrella his whole entire career, and Officer Ricky has obviously been exposed by 50 Cent. Well, he was exposed years ago. Can you imagine if next year somebody goes at Ross and they call him Officer Ricky and they even use the same cadence that 50 used on that record? Can you imagine how fucking stupid that would be? That's how stupid all this stripper stuff was, because this has been a rumor that you've heard since like 2004 that the game was a stripper. It's just fucking ridiculous. You see, this is what I appreciate about battle rap. Battle rap has this unwritten rule, this process that moves everything forward creatively. What they do is, if, for example, Loaded Lux battles, I don't know, Immaculate. I don't know why Immaculate came into my head. If Loaded Lux battles Immaculate, and Immaculate exposes Loaded Lux having a history of beating women, and he makes that the focus of his battle, and he tears into Loaded Lux with that, well, then the next person who battles him can't use that material anymore. And if they dare to use it, then they have to make it so creative and they have to flip it so well that it's going to be appreciated by the public. Now, I also want to say, and I'll get to Game's 92 bars in a second. I also want to say that the bars are obviously what I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about Sean Kingston. I'm not concerned about a chain that was stolen and who called who. I want to come in right now where there are bars to discuss and bars to be compared. And as far as the bars that we're comparing right now, even with Meek and his posse cut, I have to say that with 92 bars, the game just took it by a mile. The only gripe that I have about the game's record is the fact that he just has so many fucking sports references. Just like so many, two of which I think were done in a very clever manner. You know, he had a Cavs line. He had a very clever line about Allen Iverson and with the practice and then AI, and then he sort of transitioned that into Junior Seau, All My Doors Are Suicide. Maybe you guys are familiar with the Allen Iverson and his practice rant, but you may not be familiar with Junior Seau, who, you know, he was a linebacker, I think, with the San Diego Chargers, and he committed suicide. Leave it up to the NFL to have people committing suicide because of all the fucking head trauma, but I guess that's another conversation. So those lines were executed very well, but you know, he had like a Packers line, he had an Andrew Luck. There were so many sports references, and even with all those redundant lines, it was still a mile ahead of what Meek and Omelly did. Now, on the Meek and Omelly track, you had a feature by Beanie Siegel. I mean, obviously, because the game he mentioned Beanie, so he was kind of calling him out of retirement just by mentioning him. I have to say that if this beef continues and they continue to release records, and I would imagine that after the release of this Meek release, that the game is just going to come back maybe with, I don't know, with 94 bars. I have no clue. I'm pretty sure the game is going to come back, and then there's going to be another response. And at some point, I figure that there will be a response from Beanie. Because I guess if we know the game is very egotistical. He's going to stick his chest out, and he's going to say, okay, come out of retirement. And you could probably guarantee that when the game says come out of retirement, he'll probably make like a Jordan reference. Come out of retirement, and I put that 4-5 on you like Jordan. You like that, right? 4-5, did you get that? When Michael Jordan came back the first time, he faced the Pacers, he wore a number 45 jersey. Do you like that? Do you think I could compete in this battle? Anyway, don't answer that question. So you figure that when Beanie comes out, how is Beanie going to perform? I mean, even on this track, he has this sort of hissing Beanie Siegel tone that he's taken now, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to fare out. And I'm definitely not going to agree with the game when he says that he's a Cali nigga that can go bar for bar with Jadakiss. That is not accurate at all. I'm more than confident that if for whatever reason, if Jadakiss felt a certain way about that line, which he probably wouldn't because Jada's, pretty much an easygoing guy. If he felt a certain way about it, it would just be over for the game. I'm more than sure that his pen game is where it needs to be. Sort of the way it was when he faced Beanie. This beef is going to continue on record, which is what I would like to see. I wouldn't like to see some fucking ridiculous world star moment where, like where it was with the game and Stitches and somebody ends up getting knocked out. And then I don't know what I'm watching anymore. I don't know what I'm commenting on anymore when stuff like that happens. But what do you guys feel about these diss records? Do you feel that Meek got the better of Game? How do you feel about Omelly? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Omelly is Meek's cousin. So, there's a reason why he gets involved. And Meek is obviously going to be seen as a weaker person because he's getting other people involved. Sort of the things that have made up some of my favorite beefs are people saying, I don't need this group of people. I can take you by myself. Some of the most classic beefs that we've heard involve that. I mean, we're talking about, from beefs from diss records from everyone to Eminem to Beanie Siegel. They always have this moment where they say, I don't need anybody else. I can take you on my own. And now Meek Mill is throwing other people into it, and it's just going to be more and more people until the whole thing is just going to lose all its fucking fire, and then it dies out in about 2 days. But what do you guys feel about these diss records? Who do you think got the better of the two? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.